Welcome to my daily practice at Wendy Code Art. If you find this video interesting or helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video.
Hi, my name is Wendy and I'm an artist. I've been an artist my whole life and I am excited to invite you into my studio and show you my art practice. I paint every day and I do acrylic on paper. I also do stencils. I draw. I organize my studio space. I do a lot of things. For me, art is about problem solving, so there's always little tricks and tools that I can share with you along the way. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm really excited. I guess I'm excited every day, but you know, it's different excitement, new excitement. I have new excitement. I have new excitement because I went to the thrift store. I have a sketch club event that I go to on Thursdays occasionally. I like to go there. It's really fun. I work from a model. Yes, I do figurative drawings or paintings or whatever, and have a great time. So there's a thrift store nearby, and I go to the thrift store occasionally. And that's my source for my atlases. So I picked up another, it's a beautiful atlas. I mean, but I am deconstructing it in order to have paper, because I like all different kinds of paper. And so I'm just sacrificing it to the gods, to the art gods. But there are some beautiful pages, and it's different. It's newer, so and the paper is newer paper. It's not from the 70s or probably even 80s. You know, it's like magazine paper. There's a bunch of things that could be done with this, like reverse transfer, probably. But it is nice paper, and it's coated, and I'll just have to wait and see how the paint works on this. I mean, it's acrylic, and so acrylic is plastic and pretty much goes everywhere. It needs to. The problem with some surfaces is that it might not adhere as strongly, because of the liquid, because of the water base. It penetrates paper and canvas, and so it becomes one with the surface. However, if the surface is really glossy, then sometimes it can, scratch off, scrape off, pull off. That's why you have to sand things sometimes before you paint them a second time, or even a first time. So put that over here. I'm still sitting with my circular paintings. Hesitate to call them any other name. And the more I sit with them, the more I like them, especially as a group. Let me just turn this one around. I almost never say that. Of course, the consistency and the shape has kind of brought them all together. And even this one, where it's just a quarter of the circles. And in the areas where the paint is semi-transparent, I don't mind that. Here it's mostly opaque, and even the dark areas just because there's still color. So, and I like it when I kind of like a little bit of a jerky movement. I don't know, something like this, I believe, and I will probably put something in this area to balance it. You know, it's just like a weight on this lower corner. I don't feel that way about the rest of them, so we'll see. You know, when I get paint on my brush or on my squeegee, it's very easy for me to just go to the one that I need to. And so while I was at the thrift store, somebody had donated their acrylic paint, but these are manufactured specifically for pouring. You know, I am imagine it came with instructions, but it looks like there's some kind of an equipment necessary. I don't understand. I have to go online to see, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do what they're doing. I want to do what I'm doing. So I'm just going to use the paint. It's great. It's acrylic paint and lots of colors. And then, if that wasn't enough, there was a bag of other things. I think these are watercolor tempera paints. And I don't know. I'm not a fan of tempera. I guess I didn't read the label, but they were certainly inexpensive enough. So this is like a play day, which is really a lot of fun. You know, that's where we experiment and get some new things on the go, and find out that we shouldn't have done something, or that we should do more of something that we, you know, weren't doing before. So on that, you know, kind of like high, on that enthusiasm, excitement, I am going to try some of these paints. I did a little drip test. I just splashed some, and they're very heavy. I want to say heavy body, but they're very dense. They're very thick. I think they're very pigment dense. And then there must be some special binder, something. I don't know the chemicals, but it did come with some pouring medium and silicone oil and things like that, which I'll have to research. I don't know what this stuff is. Nice bottles, though. So let me set things up. First of all, once I get things on my squeegee, it's just that corner. I think that these pages, these map pages, another atlas. So I have atlas paper for days, and actually, this new atlas is much bigger. Not much bigger. It's bigger. I think it's bigger, taller. No, just by a couple inches, and wider, an inch. Yeah, so it'll fill up more of that space. What do we have over here? Well, this will be interesting if I do this, because these are pretty full. And there's a lot going on, a lot of kind of chatter going on, which I like. it's like a crowd. It's like a conversation in a crowd. Whereas the maps are more like a conversation in a coffee shop, a little more one-on-one, if that makes sense. Oh, and here, I'm just going to show you this. This is a thrift store item, but this, if you aren't aware, if you have to move things, boxes, I have a lot of boxes that I have to move, and sometimes, and so this is a cart. It works. I've had these for years. I can put like 100 pounds on this. The small standard hardware store boxes, three high, 40 pounds each. And this is just a great piece of equipment. And the beauty of it is, look at that. That's nothing to put in a closet or just tuck away somewhere. So I thought before I put it away somewhere, I would show you what it is. I'm not connected in any way to the manufacturer, but as an artist, I do like to find things that are useful and make my life easier. All right, so I'm putting these paints away. The thing that I noticed when I was just doing a little check on the pour paints, the paints designed for pouring. Now, I have not used them in an alternative way to, what they're supposed to be used for. So I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to try. And I'm moving things aside because I want to also work on, I think I'm working on tables because I'm just too uncertain about the continuing to put targets, bullseyes on everything. So let me set this up so that there's a view. And also, I'm going to try this camera from a different angle as well. I like this. This is a great, if you're ever going to do videos, these swan neck stands are really good. So I'm going to put this in here so you can arrange however you want to position your camera, and then you can extend the neck, the height of it, by quite a bit. Now, the only problem I have is that I can't see what's above. It's too tall for me. So what I try to do is just wing it, and then at some point I'll get a stool. And got one, but I can't get two. Let me see if I go further back here. Sorry, take up some time there. Yeah, let me just try further back. It's worth it. I can edit this out anyway. There we go. Oh, we got it. It's nice too. I want to move it around just a little tiny bit. And I can't. All right, there we go. Okay. And put everything away so nicely. All I want are my squeegees now, and I'm not seeing them. Oh, I gotta laugh. It's really pretty comical. So let's just adapt. I mean, I have a big bag of squeegees. Let's just adapt something else, another kind of squeegee. And I'm going to use these colors. I see some fluorescence. There's some metallics. Magenta, like my new favorite color. Nice yellows and lemony greens. Yeah, this is going to take a while too. Someone recently mentioned, the slowness of my process. And yes, I mean, it's all relative. But the actual painting process, when I'm walking around and putting things together, it's really very much like a meditation. It's very contemplative. And that's quite spiritual for me. That's quite, like a spiritual practice. And so, yes, there's not a lot to say. There's a lot that's going on kind of behind the scenes, behind my my talking, things that are going on in my head. It's almost like a conversation between me and the divine, and I really love it. I really appreciate and also find a lot of comfort and a lot of benefits that you wouldn't expect. So yeah, I'm going to take my time. And some people, not everyone, some people enjoy observing that, and some don't. So it's hard to be all things to all people. I have to say, this paint is very what do I want to say? You put it in one spot and it stays there. It's very consistent in its viscosity, and it does not move around. Look at those little beads of paint. Woo! Okay, well, it moves around when I do that. So let's see. Let me see. Now I want to do something over here. Let me see what happens when I put it somewhere here. Well, I did that. This is kind of a backwards day. All right, I'm going to do one right here. Wow. All right, that was great. That definitely highlights some things, something. And let's see, but these are not dense pigments. These are pretty light. Ooh. And so the black is really the densest. That's pretty good though. I'm not, I love the circle, but it's too, the proportions aren't right for this shape here. So I'm just going to pivot, still using this kind of found paint, and also observing that my squeegee it works really well, but it also has a bit of a problem with the handle. I can't press down quite strongly enough. So this is just a test of these. I really like to do something else there, but I'm going to get too carried away. Maybe here and here. So interesting that there are so many different kinds of acrylic, for just for different purposes. So I don't know if you've seen the spin wheel. I think that these are not, I mean, that's not what the advertisement said, not for the spin wheel, but you put them in a cup and they stay kind of, instead of mixing easily, they kind of stay separate. And then if you put the cup upside down, it all pours out and it covers the surface, and you get this kind of psychedelic pattern from the paint. I think that's what this is supposed to do. Now there's really not enough paint left on them, and in order to get the most of it, I'd have to break this handle, which I don't feel like doing right now. I just moved the paint down by scraping it a bit. Well, all that excitement has fizzled. I mean, I'm happy because I have a new, you know, a new set of paints to explore. Um, I just don't know where I put all my squeegees. Maybe it's time to pull out I got a bunch of uh, new dust bins. So maybe it's time. This is how I make my squeegees. The common dollar store dustbin. And I guess it's just time that I made a few more. I'm going to move this paint down a bit using this squeegee. And I'm going to apply it to kind of like these the way that they are. Maybe just one of these. Well, see, I've already been experimenting, but yeah, and that led the way to all the rest of them. I don't want it to be a full circle. I want it to be a semicircle. Kind of like a sun in the corner there. Well, I'm going to experiment with that. I can tell there's hours of fun here. So the moral of the story is to explore, experiment, go out, make some marks, make some art, go and, try something different, get a little kit. Often they sell kits of colors or different variations. And the same thing with the surfaces, except I've done my exploration with surfaces. There's also a manufactured paper that doesn't buckle and bend, and you can use acrylic, and you can use oil, and you can use, I don't know, maybe watercolor. It's called yuzu. No, that's yeah, I think it is called uzu or yuzu, Y-U-Z-U or O or something. I have to look it up. I bought some and didn't like it, so I stopped paying attention to the name, and but it's if you go to some of the paint supply places online, you can find that too. So that's my time in the studio today. I'm going to organize things a little bit, and I will come back and see you the next time. So thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you again. So I'm so happy that you are joining me today, and maybe other days too. I'll take you through my day-to-day as an artist, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tape. Thanks for being here.